everyone. Maitreya Wolf here with the Art of Soulful Living vlog. Thank you so much for joining me. I pray that you are well fed by our time here together. So let's dive in. I would love to talk today about the companions of reactivity and responsiveness. I'll share with you a story that has really brought me into deep consideration of this, and then we'll explore the principles. So I live here in Northern California. I'm in Nevada County, California, on a property with a few yurts, and it's just myself and the landowner there and our animals. And her dog loves to chase my cat. And as our relationship has deteriorated over the last few months, which is, part COVID and part the inevitabilities of just like running your course with somebody, whether or not you love them, it can just get to be like, we've gone as far as we can go here. And then if you actually stay in it, it starts to get really crunchy. We've definitely gotten to that place. And this thing with the animals is very metaphorical for it, and very triggering to us both in different ways. But the other day, her dog got out and unexpectedly and chased my cat, and I was in the bath. I was having a day off of work. I've been working for the past 2.5 weeks, and I was in the bath and I saw the dog, and I had to get out of the bath naked. My bathtub is outside. I had to get out of the bath naked. And I was trying to get the dog before the dog saw my cat, but the dog saw my cat before I got the dog and chased my cat. And I eventually grabbed the dog, and I was yelling for the woman, and I was yelling like, why did you let her out without telling me I could have put the cat away? And because this is something that she's been doing lately. We have these agreements around the animals, but the woman has been blowing off these agreements and just letting the dog out at random times when my cat's out. And she got upset that I was upset about that. And then, and it was just like this moment where we went from the, cultivated neutrality that we're trying to maintain as I complete my time there, while I'm looking for a new place, to the reality of how we actually feel about each other, which is actually very contentious right now. And she was really pissed that I was upset about the dog, and she was barking at me something about her triggers around my issues with her dog. And I was just like, God, you just behave like a fucking child. And she freaked out and lost her shit. And I mean, lost her shit in a way I've never seen her lose her shit before. I walked away from her at that point, but then she started screaming and swearing and stomping around the property and throwing things and slamming doors and smashing things down and screaming some more. And then she put on that album Anima by Tool and blared it, and we're in yurts, so and I'm outside, I'm in the bath, and we're in yurts, and this all of a sudden this heavy hardcore guitar and bass and drums and really intense music is blaring, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs along with it, especially the part where it says, "I hope you choke on it." And I could feel these darts coming at me. And in that moment, I had this enormous array of responses to this experience. One was because I just went, I just was take your dog, and I'm getting back in the bath. And then she's running around screaming and smashing things, and I'm listening to her, and as I'm listening to her, my heart is just breaking. that this person who I have loved in the past, I'm pretty done with her now, but I'll probably love her again in the future when I don't have to deal with her on a daily basis. But this person who I have like been friends with and been in a loving space with, like to hear her in this space, like just in such a place of fury and pain, was so heartbreaking to me. And it was especially heartbreaking to me that it was in response to me. Like, this is how somebody feels about me. And this is how somebody is behaving in response to me. That's horribly painful. And then, the tool thing, like, even in that moment, when I was like, I wonder if she's going to get violent. I've never seen her, like, go this far. She gets angry, whatever, but I've never seen her take it here before. And I wonder if she's going to get violent. And I was having those thoughts, and I was also just laying there, like, laughing, like, this is the way I would behave as a teenager, when I was angry with my mom or angry with something else, and it was so ridiculous. But then I also was like, okay, so we're in a situation right now. This is a situation of gravity. This is a moment, hashtag that happened will be applied to this afterwards. That happened. And so I need to navigate this moment. And this was an amazing process. This was a really new process for me, because I laid there and I got a hold of what's happening right now. How do I feel? What do I need to do to take care of myself? And what tool is going to work to accomplish that? So, I was taking in the energy. I'm like, okay, like there's this explosion of rage and anger being directed towards me right now. And so there's energy, like abusive, abrasive, hateful energy with an intent to damage me on some level, being directed towards me. I have a couple of options here. I can fight back in some way. I can go and like get into it with her and either like try to calm her down or whatever, fight with her or something. Like, I can engage. I can run away. I can run away. I could like go to the river and wait for her to calm down. I can go, I can sit here and like be in pain until it passes. I was just curious, like, what's the empowered thing to do right now? And I remembered I do a lot of internal psychic work. I do a lot of magical work. Like, this is very fundamental to who I am and how I navigate my life. So I do an incredible amount of energetic work. And so one thing I've been working with a lot lately, because I am so incredibly empathic, and the world in this state of chaos right now is really impactful to me. One thing I've been working on right now is containing my energy body. And so that's what I did in that moment. I laid in the bath and I did this energetic process of magnetizing my core, magnetizing the center of my being so that it was solid and grounded in itself. And then I expanded my energy field into a sphere, an enormous sphere around me. And as I radiated energy out of that magnetized core, I radiated my energy signature, my light, you could call it, out and like just washed out everything abrasive. I washed out everything that was not me, until I was sitting in a sphere of my own energy, and it was completely cohesive. And in that moment, her entire chaos, like the chaos that she was in out there, the Tool blaring. I don't know if you've ever listened to Tool, but like it will affect you. It affects the space. It's a serious music, amazing music. I really like it, but like, whoa, you gotta be in the space for that, and it's gonna affect the space no matter what. But so this Tool is like blaring, and she's screaming and slamming things, and and then I'm sitting there, and I've just like solidified my field so that I can actually like rest back into the bath and continue to be in the unwinding of my nervous system that I had been in before this encounter. And this, this thing unfolded throughout the course of the night, and I continued down that path of identifying, like, where am I right now? Where do I need to get to? And what's the tool that's going to take me there? First it was containment of my own energy, and then it was containment of my actual space. And then it was reclamation of my attention from her ongoing outburst, because it lasted for like 2.5 or 3 hours or something until she like exhausted herself and went to bed. And that was an incredible experience to me. And that really brought me into a deep, deep understanding of the difference, the incredibly important and powerful difference between reactivity and response. Because at first, I reacted about the dog. That was the catalyst for the collision and for where she went with it afterwards, where our shared space went with it afterwards, was that I reacted about the dog because I was afraid for my cat. So I reacted. I didn't have witness consciousness going on. I didn't have containment energy going on. I reacted. Like, the dog's after my cat. Take your fucking dog. And then I went, and then she reacted to that. And that's where she went with her reaction. And then I went back, and we were still in the conflict. And that's when I got a hold of the possibility of response. And being in that field of responsiveness was empowered. Being in that field of reactiveness was disempowered. And how this relates to the macrocosmic experience that we're sitting inside of is that there's a lot to react to right now. But when we react to people being bitchy because they have exceeded their capacity to deal with the stressors of the moment gracefully, or when we react to a headline that freaks us out, or some new shenanigan by some new authority figure doing something outrageous, when we react to these things, we get taken in a direction that we don't need or want to go in. And if we can cultivate the capacity to respond instead, then we can engage our own experience in a more empowered way and continue to progress in the direction that we want and choose for ourselves, instead of in the directions that some stimulus knocks us into. There's an art to it. I am able to do this. I am able to sit inside of this. And, this moment was really exciting for me because in the past, that situation, and not the distant past, in the past, that situation could have ruined me for days. But in this moment, I was able to pause. After my initial reaction, I reacted. I reacted and I went in a direction I didn't want to go. And then after my initial reaction, I was able to respond. I was able to take the wheel of my ship and continue to steer a solid course. This is a critical skill to develop because I believe that this global situation that we're sitting inside of right now is going to continue for a good while. And this winter, the vaccine will come out, and this winter the elections are coming around. Like there are some things looming on the horizon that are going to really increase the pressure. Unemployment is running out. Financial assistance is running out. People are losing their businesses. Rent has not been suspended. Mortgages have not been suspended. Like, we are approaching some serious pressure points. And it is of the utmost importance that when those pressure points start to come in, when we start to get impacted by things that we have very little control over, really, that we have very little control over, the capacity to respond instead of react is going to plot the course of history. And I'm not over-exaggerating with this. It is going to plot the course of history. We are in a moment of transition. We are in a moment of initiation. And initiation, the outcome of the initiation is defined by how we show up. Initiation, like the ordeal that creates an initiatory possibility, could lead to initiation. It could lead to trauma and devastation. It depends on how we show up to it, how we engage with it, how we navigate it, how we use the tools that we have developed in less pressurized situations. Because the whole thing about this story that I just shared with you is what makes that a satisfying and exciting experience for me was like, oh, I was in the field of extreme conflict, and I was able to access something. And I realized that a huge part of the ability to access it was that I didn't have to remain engaged with her in that moment. I could walk away from her and go into my own space and contemplate the moment and contemplate the possibilities and choose something and then do it. And that was, there was a space there to do it that, is not there in a lot of situations. But it was a moment in the dojo. It was a moment of training where I did embody a new possibility, the possibility of responding instead of reacting. And as the times progress, as the pressures mount, as this transformation progresses, we are going to have to be able to respond instead of react, to play our part in that transformation going well. We are living through one of the most profound moments of transformation in the history of our world, possibly. Because it's not just a transformation from like one political system to another or one thing to another, on the physical level, on the 3D level. It's at this fundamental soul level, at the cosmic soul level. This world is changing. And we have an opportunity to participate in that change in a way that changes it for the better, for everyone. Humans, beyond humans, plants, everything. We have an opportunity to participate in this time in a way that will transform this world for the better. But we have to cultivate tools and we have to use them. And they're going to be being put to the test in progressively higher and higher intensity situations. So it's really exciting time. It's really demanding time. And it's a really important tool to cultivate the capacity for responsiveness. And part of responsiveness comes from when you're in a conflict or when you're in a state of trigger or overwhelm, or when something has suddenly impacted you in a way that you want to react to. Responsiveness, the possibility of responding, is nested inside of your ability to create a moment of pause between the impact and the response. There needs to be some stretching of the moment so that an assessment can take place. Where am I? What's happening? How do I feel? What do I need? What is the tool that's appropriate for this? And then step forward with the tool. Respond with the tool. This is an enormous, being able to create that space, even if it's just this much space, is a skill. It's a huge skill. And everybody has that possibility. Everybody has the capacity to cultivate that skill, to create the space of pause for reflection and assessment and choice. Reflection, assessment, and choice. That is what creates a response. If you want to learn more about this, contact me. I do mentoring and I do healing work, and I love to guide people in this process of accessing their deeper wisdom so as to be able to meet this moment more empowered, more resourced, and more capable of responding. So, my name is Maitreya Wolf. This is the Art of Soulful Living vlog. My website is maitreyawolf.com, and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you can be on top of it when stuff comes out, and stay in touch. Leave a comment, share it if you're into it. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I pray you are well fed by our time here today, and I'm so honored that you have shared your attention with me tonight. So, remember this, there is a difference between reactive and responsive. Responsive is the path of power. Reactive is not. Cultivate the skill. And we will bring this world somewhere so much more beautiful for all of us. All blessings to you, friends. In the next frame, there's going to be all my contact information. Check out my music, check out my website. Again, hit the notification button and subscribe. I love you. Bye.